Hello viewers, today I am with you to speak on few words about endometriosis. What endometriosis means, what the complications of endometriosis are, what are the treatment strategies available and what can we do for preventing endometriosis. So, to make you understand about endometriosis, it is nothing but just the presence of the endometrial glands outside the uterus. See, endometrial glands are glands that are always present inside the endometrial cavity, which builds up the endometrial tissue and sheds once in a month. So, when the same glands are present elsewhere, the endometrial tissue tends to grow elsewhere, and when this gets shed out, that also gets shed out, causing bleeding and so on. So, where all the common sites that we find the endometriotic spots are is, if you take, they are in the ovaries, over the surface of the bowel, over the surface of the bladder, anywhere into the abdominal cavity. We have seen cases with endometriosis even with spread to the liver, spleen and so on. So, if you look into the real perspectives of endometriosis, the disease can be very superficial, wherein it just spreads superficially, or it can be a deep infiltrating tissue. So, when it is very superficial, the pain and agony is not too much, but there are adhesions in these patients. But when it is very deep infiltrating, even though there is not much of adhesions, these patients suffer from lots of pain mainly during their menstrual cycle. So, what are all the presenting symptoms? Many of them present with menorrhagia, which means excessive menstrual bleeding, or polymenorrhea, where they have a prolonged menstrual bleeding, and they also have dyspareunia, that is pain during intercourse and so on. So, to look into like how to diagnose endometriosis, the clinical history itself is very easy to diagnose endometriosis, and after the clinical history of endometriosis suspicion, we can do an ultrasound to confirm our diagnosis. So, when the endometriotic glands spread into the myometrium of the uterus, these patients tend to get adenomyosis. So, usually endometriosis and adenomyosis go hand in hand, and for many of them who had endometriosis in the early part of their life, they tend to have adenomyosis in their late 30s and early 40s. So, how are we going to treat these suffering patients is really an issue. So, when they present to us premaritally before their marriage, we give them a detailed counseling on what endometriosis, what are the early steps that they have to take. They have to understand that childbearing has to be done as early as possible and it should not be postponed. And they should understand that endometriosis is a progressive disease, and as in time passes, the disease is also going to spread for them. So, the preventing measures are mainly anovulation, like by preventing them from ovulating, we can decrease the spread of the disease. So, on those girls who are reporting pre-maritally, we have to counsel them, understand them about suppressing the ovulation and put them on oral contraceptive pills. These oral contraceptive pills have to be put ideally till their marriage. For those who present to us post marriage, we have to counsel them on the disease process and make them understand that early pregnancy is an immediate resort and an important resort in endometriosis, and postponing the pregnancy would lead to spread of the disease, worsening of their potential to get pregnant and so on. So, depending on the size of the ovarian endometrioma, if they have, we have to take the decision and the call. If the endometriomas are less than 3 to 4 centimeters, then we can help them with ovulation induction along with the endometrioma. But if the endometriomas are too large, around 5 centimeters and above, it is ideal for them to have either an ultrasound guided cyst aspiration followed by ovulation induction, or to have a laparoscopic procedure followed by ovulation induction. But in case of ultrasound guided aspiration, the procedure may be little difficult in long standing cases, as these blood become very difficult to aspirate. But if it is a recent endometrioma, then it is easier to aspirate them through ultrasound. So, laparoscopically, we try to remove the endometriotic cyst, cauterize the base of the endometrioma to make sure that they do not have recurrence, and then we put them on ovulation induction. So, for those patients who warrant IVF or ICSI program, Following the laparoscopy, we downregulate them with GnRH analogs, and after proper downregulation, we then start them on ovulation induction. So, it is very essential to always have the disease process under control during endometriosis and simultaneously make them fall pregnant. Once they fall pregnant, they have a 10 months of amenorrhea during their childbearing age, and immediately following lactation also they remain anovulatory, and this 1.5 to 2 years remains the best period for them to heal the endometriosis. So, following their childbearing and follow up, we have to counsel them about the spread of the disease which can always happen, and hence insist them to be on regular visits with the gynecologist to make sure that the disease is noted earlier and treated earlier. In few cases following laparoscopy where we suspect that the disease process could spread, if they have already completed their family life, then it is better to put them on GnRH analogs or depo-progesterones, so that these acts to suppress their ovulation and keep the disease under control. So, there are many treatment facilities available for those with endometriosis, but the right approach to the disease at the right time is always essential, and doing a repeated laparoscopic procedure is not the ideal choice for endometriosis, as when we do repeated endometriotic cystectomy through laparoscopy, we tend to lose lots of ovarian tissue, which in turn leads to premature menopause and so on. So, there should be lots of concentration in treating a patient with endometriosis, and essentially a good follow up is very important tool in treating endometriosis.